Breaking news now before you go. A person was taken to the hospital after a late night cutting incident. Now, right now, we don't know what caused the incident or if anybody was taken into custody.
Also breaking, one person is in the hospital after a late night crash. County authorities say it happened near 40th and Cumming just before 10 p.m. So far, no word on the cause of that crash or extent of the victim's injuries.
And breaking news here at the Alert Desk. Keir Starmer is no longer Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and Andy Burnham is officially appointed to the position. Buckingham Palace says King Charles III has accepted Starmer's resignation. So we want to take a look here. This is his final speech and address in the role earlier today. He argues his roughly 2 years in office have been a success, despite dismal approval ratings. He says his work is done and he wishes his successor well. Now, Burnham's term is beginning with his own visit to the king for that official invitation to form a government. Aaron?
More top stories now. Bellevue City Hall offices will be closed today due to AC and electrical issues. Residents needing help from departments at the 1500 Wall Street building are encouraged to contact staff by email.
2 people are hurt. Another is in custody after a shooting. It happened at 90th and Bedford on Sunday. Officers found a 31-year-old man shot with a non-life-threatening injury. Police also found a suspect, and he was booked into jail.
An Omaha woman is dead after a crash involving a train. Iowa State Patrol says a Jeep and a train collided at a railroad crossing southwest of Denison. The victim was 24-year-old Sandra Factor Pano of Omaha.
Governor Pillen plans to sign an executive order ending taxpayer subsidies for data centers in Nebraska. The order would also create a task force to protect the state's natural resources.